Well, we've got a brand new sponsor here at Round Guy Radio, and it's the Cedar Rapids Titans Arena football team, and they're going to broadcast. We're going to be broadcasting all of their games live for you. All 5 games starting February 15th will be the first game. It's a Sunday. It's a 5 o'clock game. We also have Henshaw Trailer Sales of Richland, Iowa, the Packwood Lockers, Smithburg Auto. We've got Coach Worrall of the Mediapolis Bulldogs. Welcome to the program, Coach.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me on today.
Well, we're just kind of wanting to wrap up. You know, you had the first 7 games. Everybody's had 6 or 7 games. It's about I don't know. I don't want to say even quite a third of the season, but it might be somewhere in that vicinity. Well, we had some games, and we do have some results here. And you came out pretty strong in that 7 games. Tell our listeners what your record is overall and what it is in the conference.
No, we're sitting at 5-2 right now overall. We lost to Washington Notre Dame. So we're 5-1 in our conference. We're tied for second right now with Central Lee. So we lost, like I said, we were in that game against Notre Dame, and then the second half they really did a nice job and exposed us in a few things and took advantage of some things we did and didn't do and give them credit. And the Washington game, they got out to a good quick start, and then we tried to make a comeback and just couldn't quite get it done. So, sitting at 5-2, taking care of business at home. Unfortunately, we've been out of our 7 games. We've played 6 at home right now and 1 on the road. So now we become a road team, and we're going to go on the road for the next 5, 6, 7 games in a row. So kind of a game of streaks here. So.
Well, the new year is gonna make you road warriors. It sounds like there, but maybe you'll get somewhere near Round Guy Radio. Maybe we'll get in there and get a chance to see your team. I'm kind of itching to see your team. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
You play in the South, the Super Conference South, and maybe Van Buren and New London are kind of rebuilding or not as strong, but. Man, you play a lot of really, really strong teams there. Holy Trinity is very good. I haven't seen Central Lee yet, but they look pretty good. And they've got a dang good record, especially there in Donaldson. I know that's a rough place to play. You got the Notre Dame team. You got the West Burlington team. These are teams that really have a lot of talent and good records. So it's pretty impressive that you are where you are. Tell us a little bit about. Just give us kind of a synopsis how the season's went. I know that you did lose the 1 game to Washington, but it was like by 3 points, and you got way behind, and you came back. And Washington's not only a much bigger school than you, but they are touting a pretty sporting record of their own.
Yeah, they're athletic. They got a nice team. They're well coached. They got out to a lead, start the first quarter at 21-6 on us, and we were down 12 at halftime, and when we cut it back, we get it to 5, and they just hit a big shot, and we just couldn't get over that hump to get it under 5 with an opportunity. We hit we hit a 3 at the buzzer. Otherwise, it's really a 6-point game. It's just the opportunity was there. We just we let them get out on us, and before we figured out in the second half how to play some basketball and move the ball and get some things done. And
well, you started out the season with a nice win over Danville. You get in the 80s. You've done that at least a couple times this year, scoring into the 80 points there. I was kind of thinking, well, maybe Danville isn't going to be as good as normal, but it does look like they are as good as normal because they've got a pretty impressive, and they're also another team in the South. There's probably 6 teams in that South that are pretty good. So tell me a little. Start with that game there, Danville. How were you able to get so many points on them? And that win keeps looking better and better as the season goes by, doesn't it?
Well, it does. They're well coached. The 2 Soka brothers are really, really good coaches. They work their butt off to give their team the best opportunity to win and prepare them. And the kids have just improved a lot. For us, we got off to a good start. We offensively and defensively, we made some things happen, and we created a lot of offense with our defense and pressure, and we're able to get the game to the style we wanted to play. And we're able to, dictate what the pace was and be able to attack them and do some good things. And that's what, was so exciting about that game to start the year. Things we've been working on, we could see them come to fruition and come to where we want to do. So that was a good start for us, And
Well,
then,
yep. Other than the impressive win against Danville, what are some of your other pretty impressive wins that you were playing good teams and you were able to come out on top?
Well, our 5 wins are against Danville, and then we beat West Burlington by 3. They kind of got on us early, and we came back. And 2 of our other wins are New London and Van Buren. And our 5th win is against, oh my gosh,
Holy Trinity, I think.
Oh, Winfield. We're 4-1 in conference. We beat Winfield, who's not in the conference. Yeah, we haven't played Holy Trinity yet.
Oh, you haven't played Holy Trinity. You haven't played Central Lee yet.
Nope, no Central Lee, no Holy Trinity yet.
Oh,
we play Central Lee on Friday and Holy Trinity next Tuesday.
Well, Central Lee is a team I have not been able to see yet, but I see the scores that they put up, and they have some impressive wins. What do you know? Have you looked at some film? What do you know about them?
Yeah, I was just before you texted me. I was on watching them again and taking a look at them to see what they do again, and just making sure I got stuff down for our scout and making sure. But they've got a nice set of guards. And they got 3 or 4 guards that are really good. The Swan brothers, the Morrison. I can't even think of the other kid that comes off the bench, number 5, that can shoot it. They got four guys that can really, stretch the floor there at guard court and handle the ball. It makes them tough because them running their break, they do a good job because they don't have to. If their guards are good rebounders, and they get the rebound, they can just bring it, and that makes it a little harder if you can get guys to run the floor and do the things and cover that. That's a challenge for you on defense and transition defense. So that'll be a hard thing for us. And they got a kid by the name of Will Hayes, at 6'6". He's a good ball player. He can put the ball on the floor for a 6'6" kid. He can post you up. He can shoot the 3 a little bit. I know he hasn't made one yet this year, but he has in the past. He's a good shooter. And so, you got them. And then they got a kid that, man, he just heck of a role player. He can do things for him at 33 that plays inside. And trying to think of it. I'm bad with names, Dave.
Well, that's all right. That seems like enough of a description to me there.
He's a heck of a rebounder. He's strong, and he just good defender. He's a really good ball player. It just fills the little gaps that they need, and you can just tell he's a heck of a team player and does things so well.
All right. Well, let's get back to talking about your team here.
Great cook.
Who is give me the statistical leaders, your scoring leaders, your rebounders, your assist leaders, stuff that you keep stats on. How's the team doing it? Who's leading the way there?
Well, we got 2 guys on top for us. We got Will Luebner and Max Griffin, both scoring right around 20 points a game. Both very talented guards. Really, doing a nice job for us, getting us out in the break, getting us into things. And while both of them are capable young men of taking you off the dribble, both of them are capable of shooting a 3. Both of them have a little post game in them a little bit too, or a little drive action where they get to the rim and do some things. So they're 2 talented guards. Max, on one hand, is about 6'3", smooth, silky smooth left-hander. He adds the game. He's a good passer. He's our leading rebounder at 6 a game. Just does some of those things that you just don't see in that aspect. Will, on the other hand, is he's a good rebounder for a guard. We don't ask him to come out and get 7 rebounds a game, but he's getting 3, 3.5. He pushes tempo. He's averaging over 5 or 6 assists a game right there. He delivers the ball and gets us into some things, and I look for that to maybe pick up here in the second half a little bit even more. So those 2 guys they're the engines, and then we got William Worrall, who's sitting. I think he's averaging 11 points a game, and he's a big guy that can pass, and a big guy that can do little things for us, and he gives us the opportunity to have a post game inside and do some things that he's our size. He's our 6'4" kid that has worked hard in the off season to get in shape, and getting better. And then we got Brayton DeLang, who probably averages about 3.5 a game. He's a post player and undersized, 6 foot, but heart of a lion, go up and get any rebound you want in traffic. He's averaging over four rebounds a game for us. Just one of the most unselfish young men you'd ever meet. One of those kids that you want on your team that just, do things for you. Got Gannon Gunn. Gannon Gunn's kind of in the 80s, Iowa had a fullback and they called him the tool that does everything for you.
The Swiss Army knife?
Swiss Army knife, yeah. Well, that's kind of guy. He'll rebound, offense and defensive end. He will get up into you. He'll guard the best player. He's not afraid to get his hands in the passing lane, get a steal. He's not afraid to make a pass. He does a great job of running the floor, creating tempo for us. But he's that guy that does just a bunch of little stuff for us, and then you got Henry Luebner that he started 3 or 4 games for us too. We've had a couple different lineups this year, and Henry is another kid that man, he's kind of burst onto the scene this year. And what he did is he's been rebounding for us. He's been filling the lane. He's fantastic in the open court when he gets the ball in his hands and has a chance to do that. And he's just a heck of an athlete. I mean, and then, we got a couple guys that also come off the bench and Brock Spears that, he's averaging about 3.5 in the four game. And he's another kid that gets a lot of rebounds for us when he comes in and is probably, you look at him, he's a post player for us. He's not, you're going to have to stretch him to get to 6'1". But again, another kid that plays hard and will rebound and do the dirty stuff for you and play defense and gives us that body to come in off the bench. And, what we're asking him to do, he's filled that role tremendously for us this year. And his game, he's kind of come on the scene as well as a junior that, hardly any experience on the varsity level, but he's doing a fabulous job this year. And then we got Hayden Gubler coming off the bench too, that got his spot minutes here and doing some good things. He's hit some threes for us and had some good defense and things like that. And he's getting better at rebounding and he's just doing some really good things for us and making the most of this, above what his role is and fighting for everything we got. And those kids are just, I love the fact that we have a lot of guys who want to play the roles they're playing.
Well, you're talking about the role players, and I've seen your team, and they do play their roles very well. Do you have anybody that's coming off of the bench, or maybe a player in JV that's kind of pushing for a little varsity time?
Well, we got some other kids that are coming. I just don't know if they're ready yet. But those kids that are coming off the bench are like Hayden and Brock Spears and Henry's come off the bench a few times and Braden DeLang came off the bench one time. William Worrall's come off the bench. So, we're not, we've done different things with our lineup and looked at different things. So we're about 8 deep. I'll be honest. We have a couple other young kids that are sophomores that are right on that edge,
bubbling a little bit there.
That are playing well at that fresh soft level and doing good things for us and building their game there. You look at and Evan Schulte, who, man, he had a huge game in JV game at Notre Dame and getting his confidence up is getting better. And then we got Sim McClure, who's another sophomore that he's a big that plays, he's about 6'3", 6'2", and good hands. He can shoot it and he can post you up both and has really improved his game on the boards and done those things. And those are kids that, you get to see and see how they're growing and what they're doing.
Is there an aspect of the game that you've improved on since the season started, whether that be free throws or 3 points or blocking shots or passing the ball or just not turning it over? Is there any one area of the game that you guys you're a little happier than you were at the beginning of the year?
We're focusing on that end of two things. One, you hit the nail on the head. We want to limit our turnovers. We struggle a little bit early, and you can see that in the games when we struggle. We turn the ball over and make sloppy plays, and we were doing that early, and we've cut that down. We got to get better on the boards. Simply, we just give up. We do a good job on the offensive boards for the most part. We got to do a little better job on the defensive boards and clean it up. We got to get our percentage of opportunities to go up instead of giving people second chance points. That hurts you. It's hard to compete when you do that against good teams, and that's an area. I will say that the thing that really excites you on this team is that, man, they all like to pass, and they're all not afraid to make that extra pass to get ourselves a layup, and that's fun to watch. And this team from last year to this year, it's when we play our pace and we do the things we want to do on defense and we take attention to detail there and create some pressure, and that's a big thing for us. If we can do that more and create tempo, we've got a good chance of like you said, we've been in the 80s 3 times, I think.
That's a lot. I don't know how many other teams have been in the 80s.
So
a lot of times you get up on another team, then the clock just starts running, and you run out of time to score 80 or 90 points there.
Yeah. So we try to we want to push tempo and play fast and get after you on defense and create a few things that way, and that's a key for us, I think. And over break, we've been working on that even more and trying to develop ourselves and how we pressure you and be a little more, show some different looks and show some different things. And we've done it the first half. We have some things we need to build on to get there and create that. And that's going to be huge for us. And then our half-court defense has to improve about finishing possessions, like I said, and rebounding. That's going to be a key. You want to be good teams, you got to rebound and you got to keep them off the boards,
Well said there. You got some momentum going here, but you start practicing, and then you got to take a break for Thanksgiving, and then you get back to practicing, and you start playing some games, and then we've had some bad weather, and you miss some games, you have to reschedule some games, and then you might have some flus or things, and then Christmas hits, and then you got a couple weeks where you have to sit down here. Tell me a little bit about how do you keep the momentum going? How do you keep the guys in gameplay and shape? And it's like painting a house, you know what I mean? It just, the more you do it, the better you get at it. How about that aspect of keeping the momentum going?
It's like this, trying to figure out what you're going to do. Christmas is just odd this year, and New Year's is just odd. I've been at this thing. I was an assistant for 6, and I've been a head coach. This is my 26th year, and I'm not sure we've ever played on January 2nd, and it's just as different, because you had Christmas, so we were out of school on the 19th. So we actually came back and practiced on the 21st and 22nd on Monday and Tuesday. And then we gave the kids off the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. And then we came back and practiced, Sunday the 28th for a bit. And then we came back and practiced this week. We went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And we'll go tomorrow at 10 a.m. and get a practice in and prepare for what's coming next. And then Friday with no school, we'll probably have a little walkthrough before we get on the bus and see where we're at, and then and prepare that way. So, it's just odd. So like you said, you go first part of the Christmas break, that's your first season. You break it into 3 seasons. So the first season was pre-Christmas break. You want to see where you're sitting and have yourself be in position. And now you come out after Christmas break and you want, it's like playing a basketball game. It's, in a basketball game, the first 4 minutes of each half are so important. So now the first 2 games out of the chute here, we have an opportunity to go out and finish off the conference season through the first half of the conference here to see where we're sitting and where we're playing and who, where we're at, and place ourselves in position to do something special, and that's the opportunity that comes up starting Friday, when you play Central Lee, who's a nice basketball team, and we've had some really good games the last couple of years against them. So, that's, and then you play the second half of the season where you go from January on. And like you said, it's kind of scary right now. We've had 1 snow out and we moved that game. So getting through that stretch now, that's going to be packed full of games. You're going to scatter a couple Saturday games in there. You're going to have different opportunities, and that's going to be the tough part is, you have that. So that's the second part of the season, and then you get ready for the tournament play, and that's your third part. So you really break it down into 3 parts, 3 seasons.
Well, I agree with you on that. Let's talk about that first week. Let's talk about that. Looks like the weather is going to be good for a week or so here. We may be able to get all these games in, and hopefully we don't get a whole bunch of games snowed out, and then we have to play 5, 6, 7 games a week to catch up there. But tell me a little bit about these first. You got the Central League. That's Friday night. Is that home or away there for you?
Oh, we're on the road, man. We won't see home till like January 20th.
Okay, so it's all road show completely.
Road show for a while. Yeah,
Well, I talked to a lot of coaches and always checking the scores and everything. Donaldson is a tough place to go. I don't know if you've had success down there or not. That year, West Burlington was undefeated through the season, or maybe had 1 or 2 losses there, but they had a rough go. They got pretty big scare. They wound up winning the game, but them folks down there in Donaldson, I don't know what the deal is down there. What's it like to play down there?
It's a beautiful gym. You need to go down and see it. It's a nice gym for a high school 2A team. They did it right. They built it right. It's a nice setting. Give them credit. They have their atmosphere is very, very. They like basketball, and their student section is usually pretty good. Their fans are very, they're cheering on their team, so it makes things, you get the challenge. Going on the road and facing a team like that and seeing how loud and how it is, that's going to be big for us and putting us in position. So we've played there. We've been in the South maybe 2 or 3 years now. And I think we've split with them the last 2 years down there. So last year they beat us there and we beat them at home. So this is an opportunity, man.
Well, it seems like a huge game, to be honest with you. If you win this game, you're going to be in the catbird seat. I mean, you're going to be looking good because I'm trying to figure out who's at least number 2, and it seems like you or them.
It's us or them right now.
Yeah, I mean,
we're in the battle.
Yeah, you guys are both in the hunt there. That's going to be an exciting game. Well, what other games do you got coming up here in the first part?
The following Tuesday we go to Holy Trinity and play them. They're playing well.
They're a very good team there.
John's done a nice job of rebuilding and reforming what he's got around. His nucleus was predominantly seniors the last couple of years, and so losing his son, and now he's got Lane Rung is a really good player, and the freshman Rhaegar kid's pretty good.
Yeah, he is really good. And then the Ellison kid is hitting a lot of threes and doing some exciting things.
Yeah, their role players are really stepping up for him. Like you said, the Ellison kid and the Van Newell and the Box kid, and they're just not very deep, and we need to get.
What day of the week is that one? Next Tuesday night, you're down there. Wow, that's pretty exciting. Just some good games. I have an appreciation for, that South there. There's a lot of good teams down there, and you never, it doesn't matter who's playing who. You really never know. I mean, either team could win, and that's exciting for me. You know what I mean? I don't always enjoy I enjoy if it's 2 schools with poor records going against each other, I like that. Or if it's 2 schools with good records going at each other, I like that. Those are all fun. Well, it's going to be a good night. What do you got after Holy Trinity?
Well, we start the schedule back over for the conferences. So we go to Danville and then turn around and play at West Burlington. And then I think we have a Wilton game at Wilton there.
Jeez, there's no rest for the wicked at all in this. You got a batch. You got a strong batch of games.
Turn around and go back to Van Buren. So I'm telling you, I mean, we're on the road until January 20th. Man.
That Van Buren team, if they can hit a bunch of threes, I watched the little scrimmage they had with Lone Tree, and they really, really look good in that.
They got some shoot 3, don't they?
Yeah, if they're hitting those, I mean, we had them on when in that Holy Trinity jamboree, and they were playing Fort Madison, and you kept thinking, watching the game, well, Fort Madison's really got them going. They're not having no trouble at all. But then you look at the scoreboard, and they're only up by 3 points just because they hit like 5 threes. But yeah,
they went on us to start the game. They were up 10-4, I think, and then we went on a little run where we went like on a 35-2 run.
Well, yeah, but they don't have much height, that's for sure. A little bit more than last year. Cockrell grew a little bit, but they got some good athletes down there, and it's also not everybody's favorite place to play. Van Buren's people say I don't know that they don't shoot very good down there. It looks a little different or something, and it's always a packed house down there.
They like their basketball down
there.
there.
They like everything down there. They're a good bunch of good people, hardworking kids, and farm kids up there. And I got quite an appreciation for them and appreciation for you guys. Well, it sounds like you're going to have your hands full, Coach. You're going to have to eat your Wheaties and get some rest.
Well, that's what I told the boys. I said, make sure you get to bed early tonight. So hopefully they take me up on that and they're in bed, ready for practice at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Well, unless they're out there howling at the moon at midnight, boy, that seemed like more of a thing when I was growing up. Man, everybody was out on New Year's Eve, but now you don't see that too many people doing that anymore. But they have to save their rest for the basketball season. You guys are just tearing it up. Well, thanks for me. We're talking to Coach Worrall, who has his Bulldogs in a pretty great place. Really, really good start to the season. Like you're got your work cut out for you, but we'll be talking to you and keeping up with you, and I'll figure out some way, somehow to get in there and see a game of yours.
There you go. There you go.
Well,
not going to be down at Holy Trinity?
Well, I don't know. I'll have to look. I've got some other games that I got a Fairfield Van Buren game I got to go to. I got a Pekin and Fairfield game I got to go to. I got a Sigourney Pekin game that I've got to go to. I've got some games up at Columbus. We're working with Waco, but I'll have to see what's on that night, and I'm going to be talking to Coach Helligy tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do. But I'm getting old, and I'm not as happy as going out in the cold and driving a long ways and back as I might have been when I was younger.
I don't blame you. I don't like the cold.
I don't like it at all anymore. But anyway, thanks for taking a little time with us, Coach. Was there anything we didn't get to talk about that you wanted to talk about?
Nope. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, we always enjoy talking to you. It's always a lot of fun. Congratulations on the great start. Good luck in this second third of the season.
All right. Thanks, Dave.